Hey guys, welcome to the woods. Well, recap, started at the beginning of the coronavirus, started making these videos just so I felt like everybody was really, um, you know, fearful, and rightfully so. So anyway, after 105 days in a row, um, it just seemed like it wasn't going to change anytime soon. So I ought to maybe back up a little bit and see if I can be more helpful. Some people in the family, are the obvious places to start. And I didn't get far before I realized I can do a lot more from the woods than I can in person. Because people need they need a foundation in who they really are. And you need a nasty spot to want to get out of, apparently. So I'm like, well, lots of people's situations are getting nasty, and fear is a nasty spot. And so it's kind of easier for people to realize that, hey, there's maybe a better way. I could feel better about things. That beating your head against the wall maybe doesn't really fix anything. And there might be a legitimate reason that there's so much hate and violence and struggle on the planet. So if you sit back with that concept a minute, I thought it's probably easier for me from this format to be helpful than any other. So I'm just going to keep doing my wisdom from the woods and whatever, let's get on with it. So, all right, some quick points that I thought about to start with. I talked about you need a reason to want to get out of where you are. You got to want something better. All right, you want something better. Now, I'm always talking about us being an energy ball. And energy affecting animals and plants around us is an obvious thing, okay? If you have the energy of appreciation, gratitude, love, focused on your pet, they spark right up instantly. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to explain to them. You don't have to prove to them. You don't have to work real hard and come home so that they appreciate you. But you also know that if people are having a funky, funky, fearful vibe and they aren't connected to their dog at all, then the dog's given no appreciation. In fact, he's probably going to bite you and start taking over the house. So there's a quick, easy indicator, Everybody's seen that. You're scared of dogs, they're scared of you. You don't even say anything to them. Well, remember in school, I've talked about this point before, but I always remembered it. We did science experiments where you put a bunch of plants out and you played Mozart music for some and you thought nice, praising, loving things for others and you ignored others, but everybody got the same amount of water, same light, and whatever else. And anyway, and it was, cool experiments, but it just got me thinking. I already was kind of in that realm anyway, but we're energy ball. Let's be aware of that. Science knows it. We can see it. Those little spinning energy sections, the chakras that they described when, the New Age time, at least in the early 80s, everybody has to be familiar with if you're alive on the planet. So they can see all that. So it's like, okay, this is real, Like when I was a teenager, I was reading Edgar Cayce's stuff, and he was talking about, group reincarnation of pods of people, and that you don't meet anyone on the planet that you don't have a connection to. And, and Einstein talked about the whole quantum entanglement, and that we're all energy balls and all that kind of stuff. And Edgar Cayce talked about the importance of the planets moving around the galaxy, and about beings on the planet way before humans. And it's all kind of weird stuff, but when you're young, you don't have resistance to it. You're just curious. So I was always curious about this stuff. I mean, I guess I was more than just listened to it and thought that sounded good. I hunted that stuff down. So I don't know why that's my attraction, but I think it's for moments like this where I can say, you know what? The process for letting go of frustration is very important to learn. Because that frustration causes everything to wither and die. And the love and appreciation and gratitude vibration causes everything to sprout and pop and grow. Plants, animals, people, each other, the environment, everything. So you focus in the vibration of love and acceptance, or you're focusing in the vibration of fear and withdrawal. It's that simple, but you gotta want to go one way. So, all right, so let's assume you want to go one way. The first thing you want to do when things are feeling funky, or as a general rule, probably for some people, we should probably do this for 6 months, is play with the helicopter view of everything. Stop worrying about the particulars. We have a government run with a president and judges and all that type of stuff. That's where we live in a government in a time on the planet when, you know, things are grown down in South America and they're produced in China, and Europe, you know, has its thing, and you know, we all sort of want to be the ones of the cool place everybody wants to be and all that kind of stuff. All right, fine. Helicopter view. It's all you need to think about. That's what's going on. It's not going to change in your lifetime because you did something miraculous, unless you're really good at disconnecting from the problem and get really in tune with who you are and get connected to this energy ball, because this energy ball is the collective consciousness. It goes on through the, wraps around the planet, radiates out into the galaxy, and we're traveling as a planet ball, you know, millions of miles an hour. I don't know, maybe it's billions of miles an hour, but for really fast. By the time you calculate in the whole 24,000 years around the galaxy, this thing's spinning around the sun, spinning around the universe, you know, you can't fathom it. But somewhere out in that view of the craziness of these balls moving around that make the whole galaxy from a really big distance seem solid. It's like as solid as I am, because I'm the same density as the planets and the galaxy. I'm 0.001% solid matter. I'm just a vibrating energy ball. What can happen to me? What can the world do? My energy ball can only hold these particles in this format together for so many years. But it doesn't. The energy ball goes on. It came from somewhere else. It's going somewhere else. It's a part of multiple things. It's all intertwined. These trees behind me, that we're all in it together. So just relax. Nothing can happen to you. From that helicopter view, that's more the spaceship view, really, right? From that spaceship view, it's good to realize something else. That we're on this planet spinning around the sun, spinning around our solar system, spinning around the galaxy. And our galaxy spinning around the universe. And where we are in that quagmire of spinning energy balls, big energy balls, much like we are, everything goes, right? Tiny is the same as the big. We haven't figured that out by now in science? Come on, for sure. So, going in the big view, it's just like our body, spinning around particles. But they're radiating energy, just like our body does. Every cell in your body is a little antenna. That's all it is. It's got ears, eyes, mouth, digests, poop, healthy, unhealthy, feeling in synchronicity between its ears, its consciousness, and its heart, in a vibrational coherence. Each cell, they have, what, 0.01% or a volt of electricity. Some kind of tiny amount, but you got a billion cells in you, so you're like a nuclear power plant. But anyway, you're just really the energy ball, and you're interconnected to all beings. And as we all slow down, take a breath, accept what is, love what is, appreciate what is, if only from the helicopter spaceship view, whatever makes you feel like, okay, from the spaceship view, I don't have to be in charge of spinning the planet. Someone else handles that. I can relax for a minute, okay? And souls down here on the planet, they're going in and coming out all the time, in case you haven't noticed. It's not the end of the world. The planet's going to keep on going. And you're going to be going long after the planet runs out and the sun's done. You'll still be dancing around, going where energy goes, wherever it wants. Doing what it damn well pleases. So, Anyway, what was I going to say concluding of that? So you got the helicopter view. And then as you feel good about things and you get used to doing that more and more, it's going to take some time, then you want to go into a more detailed sense of like how everything is perfect. Because when you hold the sense that it is all perfect, just like the planets, there's nothing that needs to be realigned, nothing needs to be rearranged, it's perfect. Not only is it perfect, it can't not be perfect. They can't not spin in conjunction. The planets all have to come to their equilibrium, and they'll move around as they move around. And they're locked in, they're bouncing off of each other. Planets are holding all of each other together, just like the energy is holding us all together. These little spinning particles that we call, whatever. Call them what you want. Depends on how tiny you're going, or whether you're going up big or you're going down small. So labeling is sort of a futile thing too. There's no point in labeling what's going on around you. Let all that go. Let your concept of, okay, I'm just feeling the energy. I don't need to figure anything out. I don't need to have mental intelligence, by the way, either. All real intelligence is outside of you. Einstein talked about that, but so is everyone. Here's another little side point. I was just listening to something today on Joan of Arc. I like Joan of Arc, so something came along on YouTube, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to a couple of those. And so anyway, she had the ability to tap into her collective consciousness, her being. The same thing I'm inviting you to do. And in that connectedness, she had so much clarity and truth about who we really are and what's really going on this planet, that the king followed her and the army all followed her. She's a 13, 14-year-old girl in France in the war, and the whole military followed her, and she went on and charged through everything fearless. But the big thing was that we don't really focus on is she had the miraculous power. She could tap into the collective consciousness. So she told them where in a church buried under some tile was the old sword that belonged to somebody that they thought was lost, and they dug it up and found it, and she predicted all this stuff. And she said something to the king, I don't remember what it was, but she said one thing to him, and he said, okay, you're in charge of the army. So whatever it was deep. It came from the collective consciousness, came from this outer being. I think I have a frisbee coming at me, maybe. Maybe it was just a stick. I'm in frisbee zone today behind the zoo, but it's pretty quiet. And I'm at a spot I can see real far both ways, so I'm good. Wish you could see what I was seeing. Man, it's beautiful out here. I don't know what day isn't perfect in the woods. You just have to have the right weather stuff for it. That wasn't the woods, but I'm not too far from some industry too. I don't know, it's my little cozy spot. But all right, so I was going to say something, concluding point, because I got 2 minutes. If I was going to be on time, I think I will be too. So you take the helicopter view. After you get comfortable in that sense of things, then you go into the details and you find the perfection in everything around you. And as you get to the point where you know everything around you is going just like it's supposed to, and I literally need to get up and do nothing, when you own that, then your care for others is a little different. It's like, I care that you're struggling, but I got to take a deep breath before I tell you how to unravel it. I can't just come in and rescue everybody. You have to learn how to unravel it. But you're not gonna, that's the weird thing, you're not gonna unravel it. You gotta go to the helicopter view, then come in again to the details of the world. So let something go, put something down, clear something out of your schedule, and just lean at least in the direction of, I'm gonna ease up on myself and focus more on my breath. I have a lot of friends who are athletes. I did that for a long time. And I've loved everything I did. I was distracted. I was busy. I ran a business, many businesses at the same time. I failed. I succeeded. I failed. I failed and I failed. And then I failed some more. And people told me I was a jerk and told me I was running my business improperly and I was making all kinds of mistakes, and how dare they, to their world, be such an interrupter. And you get told that kind of stuff. That's not me and my business. It's just being in the general public, right? If you're the front man at a business, you get it all. But it was training ground. So that's not a judgment on anybody else wherever you are on this journey. But I'm telling you, I was a doer, and you really want to change your tune. A lot more is accomplished by focusing on just what's my resonance between my brain, my breath, and my body. And can I calmly breathe all day? Give your body a chance to recuperate and strengthen itself, and it will tap into the collective consciousness just outside of your field. When you get the resonance going correctly, it comes from your breath, it comes from relaxation, it comes from putting something down. All great things come from your sense of things, from the synchronicities that come your way, from the coincidence of this and that, and just the feeling of following what feels good, that path of least resistance, as we call it. I got an ant crawling on my screen. First I thought it was a bug running up the tree that was like the size of a squirrel, but it's an ant on my phone. All right, so anyway, isn't this a great time, by the way? Technology's here for our enlightenment. It's just one of those things when you come from the helicopter view and you go into the minutia of life, you're like, and I can give you some people who can help you with that story and how it connects and things like that. But basically, technology is here for our enlightenment so that we can tap into the outer collective consciousness, so that we can be one energetic being again, like birds who fly in a flock, and we all fly together and we catch all the bugs and we round them up and we bring them together, and we round up the bugs and we bring them together. And in that harmony, life just works. Right now, we're all going different directions. Why? Because we're not tapped into our sonar. Where's your sonar? It's your energy ball. So stay focused on the energy ball. Stay focused on your breath. Put something down and work on relaxation. Now, if you want to get a good concept of what's going on around here, how life works, it's a lot easier on ourselves. Get rid of some of this fear and some of this blame and some of this picking and that kind of stuff. Neil Donald Walsh wrote Conversations with God, book 1, 2, and 3. It's a gift for us to give us a new version of what's really going on around us. But it was like 20 years ago that came out. But I've read it like, I don't know, 10 times probably. I read it a few times, then I got the audio and I just play parts of it. And anyway, I listened to some of it today and I'm like, I ought to really recommend this, because it's a good grounding, good base groundwork for understanding what's going on around here. So when you're in the helicopter view and you're coming in, he doesn't talk about the helicopter, you know, the planet side of things, but just that, like, how would God talk to us if we had to sit down with him and ask some questions like, what the hell? It's an eye-opener for sure. But I've got 20 different other people who will tell the story, the same story, sort of different ways in different language. If you're not Christian, then you don't need that one. If you're, you know, into vibrational energy and all that kind of stuff, or Edgar Cayce's stuff is really great. That's what I was really into when I was a kid. And Origin and Destiny of Man, and he talks about, you know, whole gig. He talked about aliens, all that stuff. I've known that was all coming. And they're here to give us, this is a good point, good culminating point. The aliens are outside of our planet. We know that. Edgar Cayce told me 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Don't worry about them. I'm like, all right. But they're there. Don't worry about them. So that was been my take on it. But now it's kind of getting the news and things like that. So I'm like, don't worry about them. What they're basically doing, they're beings from other parts of the galaxy. They're focusing appreciation and love and adoration on us. It's the same thing we would do for a plant or our dog. They're doing it. There's 3 that I know of, big collective groups. And they're just radiating love down here. If you tune in a little bit, you can hear them. That's Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks is channeling. Abraham is the collective consciousness of a certain, she's got a pipe, a pretty big pipe hooked up real good, and it's real consistent message, and it's on YouTube. You can get it little 15-minute blips. You don't have to watch the screen. You just put it in your car and plug it in, and you listen to that instead of listening to the radio. It would do a huge amount of good to turn away from funkiness, because while you're focused on funkiness, you cannot focus on love. You can't hold both at the same time. You got to put something down. It's a lot easier to put love down. Funkiness is so easy to jump onto because it's all over the place. But love is tricky. So if you're going to focus on the love, then you got to put down something. And that whole narrative of all the things going wrong should be step 1, 2. Also. Not 1 and 2. I don't know what step 2 is. We'll get on to the other steps. I've already gone too far. I was shooting for 15 minutes. 19 minutes, 37 seconds. We'll make a 20-minute video because I haven't been around for a while. I've been busy. And, but, you know, really doing the same thing. I've been in the woods the whole time. You didn't miss anything. That's wrong. It's a beautiful time of year. Get out in the woods. All right. Love you guys. Don't forget to throw love bombs. I've been throwing a lot of love bombs. I've been seeing a lot of love bombs. I've been getting a lot of love bombs. It's been pretty cool. So, you know, it's all good. We're moving. Keep the love train going. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.